Hey everyone, this is Zach. Welcome to my review of Fantastic Four First Steps. This movie has made me feel so vindicated in what I've been saying for the past couple years, that comic book movies have been straying too far away from comic books, not capturing the soul and heart of the characters and their stories, and trying to reference the MCU too much instead of referencing the comics. And with this and Superman, we see them going in the right direction. The first steps in the right direction to riding the ship. Like, I like a lot of the past films post Endgame, but this one felt just right. The character dynamics were fantastic. Way each individual character felt on their own felt right, and the way they captured the meaning of what this team means, how they're celebrated in the world, how they're natural superheroes. A lot of superhero films have a lot of cynicism, like the heroes don't want to be heroes and they're forced to do it because they have a special set of skills. These four people, this family, they want to be heroes. They step up to the challenge, and that movie made it really apparent from the get-go. They don't really waste any time. This movie's not super long. It's off to the races, introduced to their origins really fast, and one of the coolest openings that we've had in the MCU in a long time. And these feels like full-fledged lived-in characters. They're 4 years into their career. Their family dynamic is beautiful. We spend a lot of time with them just interacting with each other, because Sue Storm, played by Vanessa Kirby, who is fantastic in this movie, is pregnant, and everyone is just so excited about this, and they're bringing another member into the family, and they're in this retro futuristic world where they feel like they're in the future, but everybody lives like they're in the 60s, and it makes the world building in this movie so exciting versus what we usually get in an MCU film, where everything is kind of like a backdrop. You're really more focused on the mission and the characters, but the actual environments look dope, and we get to interact with actual civilians again. So you feel a little bit more stakes because you get seeing the faces of the people that are in danger. And there is some real stakes and danger in this movie, which make it great as well. Galactus and Silver Surfer are fully realized in this movie and are awesome. Shella Abal, played by Julia Garner. This is not a gender-bent Norman Rad Silver Surfer character. This is a character that is from the comics that usually is in the same universe as them, but in this one, this Fantastic Four characters live in a separate universe from the main continuity, and she's a Silver Surfer there, and she knocks it out of the park. Actually get to see the Silver Surfer surf. Who would have thought that would have been a great idea for them to do this whole time? She delivers all her speeches really well. She shows a lot of emotional depth through all this CGI and silver makeup stuff that she has on, and she just ends up being a really cool character. Out of all the characters, even though she really stood out, her arc and everything is pretty predictable if you know anything about Silver Surfer or have seen the past Fantastic Four films, but the way they executed was great. Galactus has been a character that we've wanted to see for a long time, right? Marvel usually has a big bad problem. He is not a problem at all. He's big and he's bad and he's scary, but they gave him like an emotional reason why he's a bad person. You understand why he's doing what he's doing, even though it's a terrible thing. Galactus eats planets because he's been cursed with something that makes him need to consume the largest things that he can find, and that where everything comes down to Earth, and it's up to the Fantastic Four to figure out how to stop both these celestial creatures from destroying everything right when they're about to bring a newborn into the world. So all that is really tantalizing. If you have family, if you have kids, you can definitely understand the stakes and the way they kind of introduce in a way where the whole Earth is the Fantastic Four's family. I really like the way they executed the story here. Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm is great. They toned down the way the character is written in the comics and in past iterations in terms of his misogyny that he used to show. He's still a ladies' man, but it's not done in a way where it's so overt. You can tell that he loves the ladies, but he's not like putting them down. They really made him smart. I think a lot of times they sideline Johnny Storm as just the funny one, but he is also a scientist. And Joseph Quinn knocks it out of the park. He's a highlight. He's on fire in this film and fantastic. The guy that plays Ben Grimm, I always mess up his name, so I'm not going to even try, does a really great job at voicing Ben Grimm, and the way they fully realize his character as this really uncle kind of guy. He's the heart of the group, and even though he looks like rocks, And I like that we're past that point where he's not comfortable being the character he is and how he looks. There's a little bit of that in the movie, and that's one of my like little negatives, that we didn't get more of what they were trying to show in terms of his dynamic with a woman in this movie and how he feels about how he looks versus how he can interact with humans. But the movie is really just moving really fast and off to the races, so we didn't get that as much as I wanted. One person that I think a lot of people were worried about was Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. Pedro Pascal's in everything. We're in a Pedro Pascal world, and you have to deal with it. We're living in it, right? And he's been in so many different types of movies, but people were like, he doesn't look exactly like Reed Richards. Can he pull off the character? I never had that worry because I thought Pedro Pascal has been fantastic at every single thing that I've seen him in. What really sold me for him to be Reed Richards was him playing Joel in The Last of Us. And I know that sounds weird, but I think the way Joel is and his characterization is very similar to how Reed Richards' characterization is. Reed Richards is a genius, right? And Joel's not. But they're both emotionally inept. They think very logically. They do the things that other people can't do before the bad things come on to you. He nails that as Joel, and I feel like all he had to do is transfer all that into Mr. Fantastic, and he did. He loses himself in this role, like not to the point where you don't know it's Pedro Pascal, but I never was distracted that it was Pedro Pascal. I was seeing Reed Richards on the screen because he was executing what I know the character to be from the comics. And it's a hard thing because Reed Richards is a character that can be really seem like a jerk if you don't do it right. And he was balanced in a way where he almost felt like he could come off a jerk, but he was still very likable. Them individually was great, and them as a group was fantastic as well. But what really shined was the sci-fi aspect of this movie. When they go to space, it's amazing. Some of the things that we see them do in terms of the action sequences is some things we've never seen in any MCU film at all. So this is one of those things where you want to go to the theaters and check it out, see it on the biggest screen possible because it looks so visually appealing. The trailers really didn't show how good this movie looks. It's one of the best looking movies in the MCU has ever produced. It looks fantastic. There's a chase sequence in this film that made me want to go see this movie again in the theaters because it was mind-blowing. How comic booky it was, but how sci-fi it felt. It felt like an action-oriented Interstellar sequence and mixed with a little bit of Star Trek, and I really loved it. The intensity, the stakes, everything that was going on at the same time that gets you emotionally invested in it, and it's not just doing it just for action purposes, was really interesting how they executed it, right? Seeing Galactus, them kind of having a conversation with him and how that started, how scary this actor who's voicing him sounds, was really chef's kiss, because Galactus in other previous project was just like a clown. We actually have a fully formed character that you can understand, and his dynamic with the rest of the Fantastic Four is so good. And I don't have really a lot of negatives with this film. I think the biggest thing, and this is, I guess, is more of a nitpick than a big negative, is I just wanted more. I wanted more from Bedgrim's story. I wanted more from Reed Richards' story. I really wanted more from this world that they set up because it's so different from what we know from the MCU. And I really wish they showed more in the origin aspect. I know we know all of what happened with the Fantastic Four, but they kind of go through it, and I really wish we saw it and not kind of been told. I wanted more show than tell in that aspect, and then maybe a little bit more action in the beginning of the film where we get to see some of their rogues gallery. They touch on their rogues gallery other than Galactus, but we don't really actually get to see them battle them in a way that would show their teamwork before they go against this immovable object that is Galactus, where he feels so big, so terrifying. It's like, how are they gonna get over this? So that was like my only like negatives I could say off the top of my head, that I feel like the movie should have been a bit longer to really show us some of the character dynamics more individually, and then also a little bit more action in the beginning to really nail down how they work as a team. But with that said, I think Fantastic Four First Steps is the best superhero movie of the year. It's fully focused. It's about these characters. It doesn't rely on cameos. It has some action sequences that you won't see in any other big blockbuster this year. And it gives you a unique experience within the MCU. Everything that everyone's been asking for such a long time, but also cherishes and honors the comics that it's pulling from while also ignoring all the MCU baggage at the same time, so you could just watch the movie and enjoy it for what it is. So with that said, I'm going to give Fantastic Four First Steps a B. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? And the question of the day is, what is your favorite sci-fi film that's about exploration and interacting and having contact with aliens? Drop your answers down below and let me know, and you watch more of my content.